So now I want to talk about another bash built-in that I think is super cool. It's very powerful. It is called mapfile. There's mapfile and there's read array. Now here's the good thing. I'm not actually going to talk about two built-ins because take a look at this. If we do help mapfile, we can see that we get a whole help page. I'm not going to go through all this. I'm not going to scare you. Don't worry. Let's do help on read array. Oh, a synonym for mapfile. They're the same program. They just run the same thing. So that's super nice. It makes it very easy to understand. I kind of just use whatever one makes sense with what I'm doing. If I'm trying to read data into an array, I'll use read array. If I'm trying to map a file, I'll use mapfile, but they both accomplish the same task. So let's talk about it. There's a lot here. So I have a bunch of scripts that I've already written because I feel like this is going to better illustrate what's going on. Notice that I have a data.txt. Let's go ahead and cat what's in that. Let's actually just cat it. There we go. There's 3 lines of data and there's multiple words on it. In fact, we know about word count. We can see there's 3 lines of data, there are 12 words, and there are 66 characters. Hey, that's super cool to know. It says, yo, what's up, everyone? My name's Dave, and you suck at programming. That's kind of my tagline. It's been my tagline for my videos for a couple of years now. That's awesome. So what's going on here? Let's take a look at our first script, 00 while read. Here is a basic way to read that data, to read that file into an array. So we make an array here. Cool. We loop over every line in that file. So we read that file, and then whenever we get a new line, we push it into the array. So this is very verbose here. And then we print the array. We've used this printf notation before. We put the less than and greater than just because it looks kind of neat. And if we run this, what do we get? Well, we get all 3 lines. Yo, what's up, everyone? My name's Dave, and you suck at programming. Hey, that's pretty good. What is mapfile? And why is it better? Not necessarily better, just serves a different purpose, but I want to show you how simple this can make it. Are you ready? Remember all those lines of code? Look at this. That's so easy. Mapfile. We run mapfile and it reads in from a file. This argument is optional. This is the name of the variable. So array is the name of the variable. So when I go to print array here, it's defined because mapfile defined it. So let's go ahead and run that now. And what do we get? Well, this isn't great. Look at that. Why are these showing up on the next line? That's because mapfile doesn't trim the delimiter by default. The default delimiter is new line, and it does not trim the new line off. It retains the new line. It's probably not what you want, so let's look at this other file that I have called mapfile trim. The exact same thing, but look at that. -t. -t will just trim the new line. No trickery going on here. Look at this. It's exactly the same as the first example, but one line to read an entire file into an array. That's awesome. Be careful with this. You better know how big that file is, because what if that file is huge? You're trying to read the whole file into an array. You got to be careful with that because you're reading the whole thing into memory. So know when that this is appropriate to use. Or let's talk about this example, map file limit. Look at this, -n2. Now, instead of array, we called it foo. That's the only difference there. But other than that, it's exactly the same. We're reading in, but we're giving it a -n2 argument. What does that do? Well, it limits it. Yo, what's up, everyone? My name's Dave. And it just doesn't have the 3rd line. So -n2 tells it to only read the first 2 lines, and then it stops after that. It reads up to 2 lines. So that's what's going on there. Now, mapfile, as you saw from the help page, there's a lot of arguments going on here. I'm not going to talk about every single one, but I am going to talk about one specifically that I think is really cool. Now, brace yourself. There's going to be a lot here, but we're going to work through it. This is mapfile with a callback. So let's ignore this function real quick. Let's go down here. Mapfile -t, we know what that does. -C, and we give it the name of a function. -c1, we don't know what that is yet, and foo. So it stores it as foo, as you can see right here. But my func is defined up here. We have my func up here. It takes a line as the first argument, and it says mapfile, called with line. Here's the cool thing about mapfile. It takes callbacks. I can process the line by line as it comes in. So mapfile still works the exact same way, but it will fire off that function every time it reads a new line, and I can deal with it there. The reason it's every time it reads a new line is because I gave it -c1. That means only read one at a time and fire my callback. Only fire my callback after reading 1 line. Because -c is the callback. Evaluate callback each time quantum lines are read. How much is the quantum? Well, we can specify it with -c. We specified ours to be 1. Quantum, I think, is way bigger than that by default. I don't actually know. It might say it somewhere. But, oh yeah, the default quantum is 5,000. That's crazy. I don't know why you'd want that. But, yeah, So you can actually register a callback to fire whenever a line is read. I have yet to find a super useful use case for this, but it's still a really cool thing to know about mapfile. And again, mapfile and read array, they are just the same thing. So you can just do that, run that, and it works exactly the same because they are just synonyms of each other. The same way that dot and source are like the same program.